Houston. I'm David Fink alongside Ireland's Martin Mulkerns. Martin, this is the last quarterfinal of the day here in Houston. It's world number one, WPH number one, Luis Moreno taking on his junior rival, Aaron Garner. Not Alan Garner. This is the first tournament that Aaron has ever finished higher than his brother Alan.
Well, there's been a lot of upsets and surprises this weekend. So, but I think Aaron, well, that's a great shot there. But he seems to like this tournament. I think this was the tournament he got to the semi-final in last year. No, he had a great comeback against Luis Cordova yesterday. I think he was 23-17 behind and came back to win 25-23. I was refereeing actually while I was refereeing Emmett Pashot and Dave Chapman at that time, and I could hear there was a timeout, and I knew it was 23-17. When next thing I hear 23-23, and a minute later 25-23, but I had no idea who actually won. But obviously Aaron won that, and seems to have settled into this game already.
Luis Moreno is an amazing front runner, so if he gets on top of you, his game just seems to continue to get better, but you have to find a way to stay with him, which is obviously easier said than done. But it just seems like he just builds his confidence to the point where he's untouchable once he gets that big lead. But you know, these guys played last year in Denver in the round of 8 with Luis Moreno winning comfortably 25-9. That was a quarterfinal match.
It's well, Luis is kind of the informed player that people are, you know, he's the #1 seed for a reason, and I think he has how many what was the stats he had yesterday on his wins? And
he has 43 race match wins. The second closest, the closest in match wins is a guy with 28. So you're talking about a 15 match lead.
And he's only lost 5 or 6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
So 43
he's
to
got
8.
He's got 8 race wins in 16 race events played. There's been 17 events. This is the 18th, but he skipped 1.
So of the 16 he's been to, is it?
Yeah.
He's won half of them.
Yes. Yeah. Including 5 in the first season.
Plays 3.
Well, Aaron will be happy. You know, it's obviously playing Luis. Well, I don't know what he would be going through his mind, but I'm sure he's kind of going in there with the attitude, you know, nothing to lose, kind of relax, try play as good as you can, and he should be happy enough with this start to have a lead.
Well, you know, Martin, I look at the round of 16 almost like playing on Thursday and Friday in golf. You have to make the cut. You get through that round of 16. Now you've made the cut. You have a lot of the pressure off of you, particularly if you're, you know, a #8 seed, where you know it's going to be tough for you to make that cut. Now he can kind of free roll a little bit.
Yeah.
Knowing that he's picked up a lot of ranking points. He was in the round of 8 last tournament as well, so he's got a lot of confidence. He really struggled, Aaron did, the second half of the Race for 8-2 season. Said, you know, I just became too analytical. He's one of these guys that really tinkers with his swing and his game. He watches a lot of videos. He said, I was trying to copy Luis Moreno's swing and Sean Lenning's swing, and it just totally screwed me up. I couldn't play. So he's gotten back to what he does well.
Kind of like a Padraig Carrington in the golf.
Very similar, yes. Good analogy.
It's probably the only golf thing I could ever.
But Padraig Harrington is just totally nuts also.
I wouldn't know, but that'd be more your area of expertise. But no, it's changing your swing can be, you know, well, he must have felt that his other swing he obviously wasn't happy with it. But
what's interesting, Martin, is that sometimes you change your swing and then you watch yourself on video, you think that you're doing something completely different, and it looks exactly the same.
Hold on.
Oh.
Ooh, that was, he could have dove for it maybe.
There goes the perfect game.
Huh?
2 plays 3.
Well, you have to give him the benefit of the doubt. He could have dove for that ball. There is a possibility he could have got it.
Second serve.
Luis Moreno calls himself an entrepreneur and also a professional athlete. Luis does a lot of different things. He's very diversified. He's a photographer, writer. He writes poetry. He also runs a business in Tucson.
He must be very busy. So.
He also plays 5 handball matches a day against 5 different opponents. They vary in skill from an A level to a top 5 pro.
Second serve.
Oh.
And I don't
That's
even
another
think
one.
Luis knew that happened.
That's another one for the Showtime
That
now.
was amazing.
Between himself and Anthony now, they'll be
Three
filling
plays
up
three.
that reel.
Had a chance to interview Luis before this match. He said, you know, I motivate myself. You know,
Point.
of course, I'm thinking, how do you stay motivated? You win almost every tournament that you play. He said,
Four,
you know,
plays three.
I'm motivated within. I listen to music, I write. I just want to try and be the best player that I can be.
Second serve.
I just think about the next point. And I think you see that with almost every top athlete. Their mentality is, they use the KISS system. Keep it simple.
That's a new one for me.
3 plays
You
4.
can write that down.
Huh? The kiss system. Oh, there it goes again.
And Martin, we talked in the last match about how certain guys match up against each other. You've played Luis Moreno, and it couldn't have been any closer in both matches you played. He's the #1 player.
Yeah, but
yet you get in there against other guys like, say, Aaron Garner, who you would seemingly have an advantage over, but yet you lose. So almost a little bit like Anthony playing Sean Lenning.
4 plays 4.
Just seems to suit your style for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know. I was, you know, I was in Idaho as my first time to play Luis. I was actually looking forward to playing him, and I was in Tucson as well. I like to play against all these guys and see how I do. And you know, obviously he's, as we said already, he's really the in-form player. He's the #1, and kind of went in and felt like I had nothing to lose. And as you said, I seemed to match up pretty well with him. I thought maybe in Idaho that there was a chance maybe I could have snuck it, but I think it was 25-23. But he's just, my serve wouldn't be as dangerous as his. He can just go in there and, as we both know, just serve aces. And he even here, like, you know, he's keeping Aaron off balance on every serve. They're spinning reverse, and look at that, straight down the wall.
Point.
There's just nothing you can do.
No.
They're just great serves. And
when asked what he loves about handball, Luis Moreno just said everything. I've been in this business for 14 years. He just loves everything about it. He loves the training. And this is a guy that's a 24/7 athlete.
Thought there was enough hook on it.
Everything he eats is based on
Timeout.
how he wants to feel, how he wants his body to feel. He stretches every day, does a lot of yoga. Very serious about his craft. Luis says that his favorite tournaments are the Jake Plummer, the U.S. Open, the Denver Race for 8 Pro Stop, which we'll be going back to in a couple of months, and also Alaska. So a couple of those places you've been, and a couple you'll soon be in the next couple of seasons, Martin.
Alaska.
We'll look forward to you stamping that visa for a number of different.
I got a fair few stamps last year now in the last 12 months, but I've enjoyed coming to the tournaments. It's been a great experience, you know, to get to play all the different players, and it's kind of been a mixed bag of, you know, maybe the first half of last year might have been a bit better for me in Salt Lake City and the U.S. Nationals, but the last few tournaments I've struggled a little bit. Is it a timeout here, is it? Or?
I think a smart timeout there from Aaron, who just seemed to lose his way a little bit there. Played Luis pretty even, and now he's made a couple of errors. And of course,
9 plays 4.
when Luis starts putting the pressure on you with those ace serves, you almost feel helpless. And then when you do get an opportunity, you rush it. And you're never really all that set against Luis because he's hitting everything so hard.
Like even that was he hits it so hard it comes off the back wall, but
Side out.
everything is coming hard at you. You never really get a chance to set your feet or have time on the ball.
4 plays 9.
Aaron has an amazing right corner kill with his right hand. I know you've seen it. You know it's going there, but he has a way of hitting it where the ball just stays down.
Point.
He also has that ability to hit that short crack on the left side wall on his
5
serve.
plays 9.
I saw him hit 5 flat rollout cracks in a row one time, serving. Down 20-24 against Emmett Pachot.
Wow.
Hit 5 straight cracks to serve for the match and ended up missing a back wall kill and losing it in overtime. But that's something he can do. He concentrates a lot on his serve, says that he's always working on his serve and left hand. felt like his serve wasn't as big a weapon,
on.
or feels as though it's not as big a weapon as it should be. So he spends a lot of time on the court by himself. And I think the serve, Martin, is probably the least practiced shot by the recreational player, and even the pro player, because you know, you go in there and you work on your back wall.
Good.
You know, you might work on different shots, but a lot of times you don't go in there and just hit serves.
Point.
Yeah, I think
it makes a huge difference.
I think a lot of people maybe, as you said, kind of overlook it a bit, kind of like,
10 plays 5.
you know, I'm going to get loads of, I'm totally in control, I have my 10 seconds, I'm going to, you know, I can serve.
Hold on,
you know,
screen
maybe
ball.
that kind of attitude.
Screen
But
ball. Thought he crossed your shot
I think
here.
kind of Luis is probably the best server, you know, and it's no surprise
10
then
plays
that
5.
he's up there at #1 pretty much all the time. So when you can go in like he can and serve 7 or 8 in a row, or say in a game to 25, if you can hit 7 or 8 of those just ace serves that you're a third of the way there almost without even a
5
rally,
plays 10.
it's a big advantage than when you have to work hard, win rallies just to get every point.
Both these guys, Martin, are 26 years old. Luis just turning 26 yesterday. His birthday's important to him. I mean, didn't attend this event last year because it was on his birthday weekend. Wasn't even planning on attending this year for the same reason, but decided to make the trip, and I think he'll be happy that he did. Aaron is 6 foot tall, but he's a lot more muscular than most handball players. He's about 200 pounds, and he's
Second serve.
unbelievably strong.
Both Garners are big, strong men.
Aaron lives in Portland, Oregon, where I don't think you've been, Martin, but it's a beautiful city. He plays and trains at the Multnomah Athletic Club, home to the 2009 World Championships.
Yeah, that was my first trip to the
you have
US.
been there. He's their sponsored pro. They're very proud of him.
7 plays 10.
And that's a beautiful facility. Very proud to have him representing them.
Well, he's doing quite well now. He's kind of, you know, if he could keep up this kind of, you know, these kind of runs in tournaments, if he was finishing like this, he'd be probably on track for a invite for the Players' Championship. Or
he's right on that bubble,
yeah,
and this certainly will help him a lot. He came in here with 5 points. He'll pick up at least 3 to go to 8, which puts him inside the top 8 for the remainder of the season. Now, to me, it's really only a top 7, because if Paul Brady decides to come, I believe,
10 plays
based on
7.
what we've seen, that he's going to win the events he plays, or at least get a win in a second, which will put him in the Players' Championship. So it's more about the top 7 if Paul Brady does come. Now, that's speculation on a lot of fronts.
It'll be interesting. It's a shame he couldn't make it to this tournament.
Yeah.
But I think I saw the entry for New York, and I think his name is in for that. So it'll be really interesting to see how, you know, I suppose it's not often you see Paul coming through the qualifiers. So it'll be
actually,
you know,
in an oddity in the rankings, Paul will actually move up in the rankings after this tournament, despite not playing here, because tournaments fall off after 12 months.
Okay.
So Aaron's results from 12 months ago here, where he picked up 6 points in a semifinal finish, he'll lose points because he's likely not going to make the semifinals. Now, if he does, but also we lose points from Alaska, where Paul didn't play. So Aaron loses more points from there. So Aaron will actually drop below Paul Brady despite playing here and doing well.
Yeah.
So Paul likely will be invited into the top 8 in New York, which, you know, I think
he may not have to.
Yeah, I think that makes the tournament a lot better if, in fact, he is.
Well, it would have been interesting to see kind of what would happen if he had to play 3 times on the Friday, because there is nothing easy about that, you know.
Okay.
You know, you can often, even if you win quite easily, you still have to
12.
warm up, tug out, spend that time in the court twice, and then you could get that draw where you're playing an hour and a half later in your third game. You know, you don't get much of a turnaround, and but as you said, he'd probably be invited into the top 8 unless Aaron can win this game. It probably would have made a big difference if Mondo could have came as well.
That could have changed everything.
That probably would have changed a lot. Unfortunate that the weather prevented him from coming.
Yeah, very unfortunate. It looked like on that Thursday night that we may have been losing more than just Mondo, but fortunately our guys were able to scramble, get some flights the next day or later in the day.
7 plays 12.
And everyone made it except for Mondo.
I know.
Of the elite players.
Yeah, Andy and Marcos had a lot of trouble getting here, but thankfully they made it.
Second serve.
Both these guys have been coached by legends. Aaron Garner, as a youngster, was coached by Dave Chapman, who used to come into San Antonio and coach both he and his brother Alan. Luis Moreno, coached by John Henning initially in Tucson and then later by Fred Lewis, who still does some consulting with Luis's game. So you're talking about two of the greatest players that have ever lived in your ear. That'd be nice.
For sure, yeah.
Point.
Coaching cannot be overstated because it's very important, and virtually every guy in the elite
plays 12.
8 has had
A top coach
a
at some
top
time.
coach, yeah.
Well, it's always good to have someone kind of outside, or, you know, looking, you know, when you're in there playing, you don't see things
Right.
that you're doing, or maybe little things that you're doing wrong that could make a big change, or so it's good to have someone kind of outside the glass looking in, or
12 plays 8.
you know, maybe just looking back on the tapes with you, or helping you with different shots and things you mightn't spot by yourself.
Well, you know, Martin, that these guys are all so close that if a coach picks up one little thing, it could be the difference between being 3 or 4 points better in a game. That's the difference between winning and losing a lot of the time.
Definitely, yeah.
13 plays 8.
Aaron, I thought, might take a timeout, but
And this is
Hold on, hinder ball, please.
something Luis gets into when he does build a lead. Sometimes he goes into sort of a junk time mode.
hitting a few of these
13
kind of
plays 8 over.
coming
That's
over the
something
top
that-
of the ball.
Yeah, that's something that Fred Lewis
It's not
really
good.
has worked hard with Luis, telling him you have to hit every shot hard. I've seen Fred tell that to Luis on a number of occasions. There was a spell in 2009, 2010 where Luis was just paddling virtually every shot in the front court, never really hitting the ball
From
hard.
here, it's-
He
Aaron,
made the
it's
commitment
really
to
tough
hit
to
every
see,
shot
honestly, the
hard
screens.
just
I
as the race tour began, and you see the,
I'm gonna call
the
it a
results. Arguing here over whether that serve was good or short. Looked like it was.
I don't know.
Like
Is
it was
it a
good.
screen or a short? I thought it was a great. I thought it looked good
Well,
on
you were
my
leaning right
first
too,
viewing
by
of
the
it.
way. So, point 14
He went right
plays
there.
8.
I think he went right. That's just why he didn't get it.
Oh, he was saying that was a screen.
I think he said it was a screen, even though he went
There's
right.
Amazing serve. Oh, and Aaron stays with it. It's interesting, Martin, because Luis was asked what his strong hand is, and he said left. So.
Well, I think I've heard Dave say before that in training, like
8
Luis will
plays
serve with his left
14.
hand sometimes and can spin the ball better with his left hand, but just won't do it in a match because it'd be disrespectful.
Well,
Can you
I would-
confirm this, or?
I would prefer that he served with his left. Put it
Okay,
that way.
all
Okay,
right.
I'll just leave it at that.
I was thinking that
Yeah.
it would be better.
I'm not
if he'd
saying it's a
serve with his
bad
left
serve,
as
but I
well.
would, if he thinks it's his best serve, I would prefer that he served with his left too. So I wouldn't feel disrespected at all.
I'll have to consult Dave Vincent. Maybe he hasn't played that serve on you.
He has actually.
Oh,
Yeah. He tried it once.
didn't work, honestly. No.
14 plays 8.
Big hop on this, I'd say.
Short ball.
Oh. That looked like an ace to me.
You saw good.
Is that an ace then? If
Marcos?
if both linesmen disagree with the
Take two.
referee there,
Well,
Take 2. They
I'm
both,
see
Unless
he
the ball-
absolutely aced his serve here,
okay,
and
let's take a look at this.
they both saw it good. I called it short.
he
Well,
aced it.
what
8,
happened there is
2
Aaron
serves.
heard the short call, so he pulled his hand back, and you have to give him the benefit of the doubt. Now, if that ball hits a crack and rolls out flat, and it's overturned, then yes, it would be a point. Or if Aaron was on the left side of the court, completely full, and the ball went down the right. And look at that power.
Oh,
Oh my gosh, look at the reflexes from both guys. This is an amazing rally. Oh, Luis
see there the
overhits that.
power. But Aaron hit it straight at him.
Volley.
Aaron's not actually that far behind in this game.
No.
If you know, if he could, he's able to hit those left
8
crack
plays
serves as you were
14.
saying earlier. Like if he could get two or three of them now, maybe to be 11, 15 or something,
Second
Yeah.
serve.
maybe even 10 or 11 going
Right.
in at halftime. At least he's within striking distance. But
Particularly going in with a little momentum, having 1, 2, or 3 points. And, you know, 15, 10, or 11 is certainly not insurmountable. And
Point.
there's one.
there's one. Yeah, no, just kind of one at a time maybe, and try get to 10 or 11.
9 plays
or more.
14.
Yeah. But I think you go in trailing 8-14, telling
Short.
yourself, let's get at least 2. You know, really trying to focus.
Both agree.
Obviously, you're not going to say, I'm going to stop at 2, but you're going to feel a lot better during that 3-minute halftime if you're only trailing by 2 or 3 or 4.
This is a setup here now, maybe.
I believe that Luis is the quickest player on tour. Doesn't really get a lot of credit for that because he's such a great shot maker, but I believe he's the fittest and quickest guy out there. Emmett Peugeot gets a lot of credit for being one of the fastest guys, and he is, but I believe that Luis is the quickest.
14 plays
His
9.
ability to stop on a dime and change direction and do something with the ball is really remarkable. That's not a good shot.
He had a serious setup there.
Yeah, and Aaron does nicely to paddle kill.
But yeah, as you said, he definitely, haven't played him now,
9
he definitely,
plays 14.
he just seems to be there, a great retriever of the ball, no more than yourself, and Emmett's really fast as well. And Marco Chavez seemed to be getting some serious gets there as well today,
well,
which is
I don't think you
unbelievable.
can be a top player without having some serious wheels, because that's really about half the game. I've played against a lot of guys that were good shot makers, and there's a terrible air, but just didn't have that quick first step to be able to pick up kills. And you can have all the greatest shots, but without that, you're really at a huge disadvantage.
Just a big spin coming here. Look at the way he's standing.
Well, he lined up completely differently, but it looked like the same serve that he's always hit. Luis Moreno takes a 15-9 halftime lead. We're going to take a 3-minute break as you see Aaron's brother Alan checking out the action. You stay tuned. We'll be back in 3 minutes. For Dave Fink, Martin Mulkerns, see you in a bit.
My life is full of statistics. Thing is, I could have dropped out of school and become one myself, but I didn't because I had people that believed in me. Here's another statistic. 7,000 students drop out every school day. That's 1 every 26 seconds. It's time that students know that we believe in them.
Inspire a student and share your message of support at boostup.org.
Here we go. We're gonna make some juice.
It's gonna be good.
She's excited. A little bit of kale.
Please don't put this on.
I'm putting it all over the line.
It's wet. It needs something. No, it'll go.
Don't break my juicer. Looks good.
You ready to try it?
Come on, baby.
Challenge your kids to be active and eat healthy.
It's okay.
Okay, all right.
They might surprise you.
Hey, she took another sip. You saw it?
Search We Can for more ideas on how you and your kids can get healthy together.
Working and working out takes a lot of energy. That's why I drink Zenergy. Feeling fantastic and looking good has never been easier. Science, extreme science for your active lifestyle.
At shelters, you'll discover healthy and loving animals just waiting to become a part of your family. Why wait? You can make a difference in the life of an animal. A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person and adopt your new best friend today. To find out more, visit theshelterpetproject.org.
So, what's it gonna be? We could ride bikes, skating, movies, zoo, whatever you guys want to do.
Can we just do this?
Yeah. We could just do this.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
Are you getting this, honey?
Oh, prime time. We are rolling.
All right, Mama's gonna bring it home. Mama's gonna bring it home. Okay.
Come on, watch this guy.
Oh, backwards.
Oh, don't. Oh.
It went into Bob and Carol's yard. Oh, no? Okay, here it comes.
Oh, no!
Challenge your kids to be active and eat healthy.
All right, Let's see what you can do. Let's go.
They might surprise you.
Let's go.
Search We Can for more ideas on how you and your kids can get healthy together.
Rethink what you know about this Vegas icon. Elevate your expectations at the Stratosphere Hotel, Casino, and Tower. See what's new, up, down, and all around.
Point.
Welcome back to the second
10,
half
plays
here.
15.
Aaron Garner with a quick point narrows the gap to just 5. Aaron telling me during the halftime that he needs to make his serve less of a liability. It's amazing how
he needs to make sure though that when he gets setups like that, that he's taking them.
Oh, that was a terrible
15
error.
plays 10.
Luis had him, but he completely overhits that serve, and a
Good
great
pass.
natural hook there from Aaron. Aaron, born and raised in San
10
Antonio,
plays 15.
now works as a mental health associate for Providence Willamette Falls Medical Center on the Child Adolescent Unit in Portland. Aaron is very interested in psychology, considering getting a master's degree in psychology, but for now he works with troubled teens.
11 plays 15.
He was telling me about it before. I think he really enjoys his job.
Yeah.
He finds it,
Short.
he really likes that when he goes, that he feels like he's helped
Second
someone
serve.
when he goes home every evening after work. That must be the liability he was talking about.
I actually think that Aaron
15
has a
plays
great
11.
serve, but
That Luis is just
Point.
those naturals down the right are just sticking to the wall.
it looks like he's coming over the ball, but then the ball hits the
16
floor and
plays 11.
straightens out, which seems like is the opposite of what should happen.
That looks short to me.
Saw it good?
I thought it was short.
You saw it good, Marcos? Good.
I thought it was good
It's a
also.
point.
Just barely.
17 plays 11.
And this is where it gets scary, playing Luis. You've kind of hung around, and now all of a sudden he seems to be in his groove, and up 17-10. He scores a couple more points, and it's going to be pretty much impossible to come back.
It's critical now for Aaron that he needs a few points here to stay in this game, because if he doesn't make a few and Luis gets to 19 or 20, 11,
11 plays 17.
it'll be a bridge too far.
Aaron Garner, Martin considers his best ever win to be against you at the
Second serve.
Simple Green US Open a couple months ago, so I take that as a compliment. He told me that the pro he'd most like to play is me, and I don't take that as a compliment. I don't think he was saying that because he loves the challenge.
Sounds familiar.
I think I'm the guy he thinks that he's going to beat. So
17 plays
for you,
11.
it's a compliment. For me, maybe not so much.
He played really well that day when we played.
It was
That was
short?
definitely short.
Okay, second serve. Thank you.
He played really well that day against me. He was doing a lot of left cracks.
Second serve.
And as you were saying, he had a great kill into the right corner there, corner kill. But have you played Aaron much? Probably.
We actually have a pretty good rivalry. We've played 3 times. 2 of them were very close, including the first time at the 2009 Portland World Championships when you were still in diapers. I was winning the first game.
Need it?
18-13. Ended up
That was a
losing. Won
point.
the second game. Was up 9-1 in the tiebreaker. Hit a perfect ceiling shot into the back left corner. Aaron jumped up, hit it off the side of his hand, and the ball rolled out flat right in front of me. Aaron came in and scored 8 straight points. The score should have been 10-1. Instead, it's 9-9 with him serving on fire. I was lucky to escape that one. We also played at the Nationals in 2012, where I led 18-4 in the first game and never scored again. Trailed 12-2 in the second game, came back and won 21-12, and then won the tiebreaker 11-4. So
Sounds
we've had
like
some excellent
they're good
matches.
games.
Yeah, very good games. I was lucky
18
to win
plays 11.
both of those matches.
These serves are. He
Yeah,
has
just-
Aaron leaning to the right every time.
Just outrageous. I thought that Luis might be at a slight disadvantage on these courts because they're panel and a little bit slower
19
than
plays
cement. but
11.
His serve seems to be jumping off the wall just as much.
Like that natural down there. I think he's got 4 or 5 aces. And you can't blame Aaron for kind of leaning
No.
right because
Timeout.
every time he serves right, he aces them.
1 minute.
And then he's throwing
20
the odd one down
plays
the left.
11. Luis serves.
I think I saw him play some game in Alaska there last year. He was getting.
Luis was just outrageous in Alaska last year. Just
The serves are
absolutely
just-
unbelievable. Interesting, Martin, that given the choice, Luis Moreno would most like to play Alan Garner, who's been his arch rival. Alan Garner holds a 14-5 lifetime record against Luis, but it shows you how competitive Luis is. He wants to play the guy that's beat him most.
Yeah, I'm not surprised to hear that. You know, he probably wants to. I know he has that win from the most recent one is Luis winning at the U.S. Open, 11-10, and
Right.
you know
be
you
a
always
pivotal-
want to play those guys though that you know may have beaten you a bit more than you've beaten them, and I'm sure he'd really like to play Brady as well. And every time I think the Worlds and the Players Championship last year, he's kind of really confident and
Here we go.
kinda, you know, he thinks he can beat Paul,
Yeah.
and he kind of comes out saying he's feeling good and he's going to win, and you know.
Well,
I think
a lot
he
of that
likes.
comes
I
from-
think he likes playing these guys.
Yeah, well, a lot, you know,
All right, guys,
Luis's
here we go.
personality, he's very self-motivated. He told me earlier today that I know
20
what I can
plays
do. I
11.
know what shots I have, so I'm not going to be intimidated by anybody. I'm going to just make my shots, and really, there's nothing they can do about it if I'm making my shots, which is true. Luis says that Nadi Alvarado Sr. and
11
Jr.,
plays 20.
as well as Fred Lewis, Sean Lenning, and Dave Vincent have inspired him to play this game at such a high level. Luis' left hand is just amazing.
Really, really fluid. Looks just as good as his right. We're
Luis-
talking about the sleeve.
20 plays 11.
Is it some kind of support or just for?
Well, Robert Griffin III wears that and takes a lot of flack for it, and he says it's comfortable. Of course, with Robert Griffin III, you never know if anything he says is true. Haven't asked Luis about the sleeve. Luis says that the best player of all
21 plays
time, in his
11.
opinion, is Paul Brady.
It's probably
Contact.
quite
Thank you.
hard to. It'll be hard to argue
Do it
with
over,
that.
please.
Well, I'm the type of
21
person
plays
that
11.
doesn't need
Short.
for someone to have the most ever titles or the longest ever
Second
career to
serve.
say he was the best ever. I think Paul Brady plays the best handball I've ever seen in my life, regardless of whether he wins 6 national titles or 20. I just don't think anyone can ever match his shot making and his unbelievable
11
game.
plays 21.
Even if he never plays again, he's the best player that's ever played at this point, in my opinion. But you didn't ask me
I've
for
only
that.
I've only played him once in a tournament, and that was the U.S. Nationals last year. And
I watched that last
12
night at
plays
3:30 in the
21.
morning. Actually, couldn't sleep.
well, yeah, at 3:30, at least you were in bed. At least you were asleep at 4:10 then, because it was only 40 minutes long. 2 games to 21.
Yeah.
No,
I was
he
actually toggling between that and the French Open women's final.
21 plays
I was
12.
busy.
big tennis fan. I know.
I'm actually
no
a big
golf
fan
fan.
of sleep. I just couldn't
No?
do it last night. Working out the rankings in my head and a lot of other things.
12 plays 21.
So you'll be passing out Sean Lenning this weekend, taking the number 2 spot.
That's correct. Yes, that'll be posted on Monday.
13 plays 21.
This is just in
Breaking
advance.
news.
Yeah, breaking news.
And look at the hop that Luis puts on that. And maybe his left is the strongest hand. I mean, that's what he cites as being his strongest hand.
21 plays 13.
He's given
Luis Moreno has appeared in 8 race finals he's appeared in 9 race finals, winning 8 of them, which means he has an 8-1 record in race finals. The only race final he ever lost was to Charlie Shanks last year in Salt Lake City.
I was actually there for that. I couldn't believe the serve that Charlie was putting out.
It's basically like
that
Tiger Woods taking a lead into the 3rd round or the 4th round. When he has that lead, he closes it out and wins. At least the old Tiger did. That's pretty much what Luis does. When he gets to the finals, he's winning. It's really an amazing record because when you get to the finals, you're playing against the best player, and he's beating them 8 out of 9 times. And it looks like he's on his way to closing this match out.
Well, like he just crack serves a second serve there on the right.
23 plays 13.
Well, I just think that's mean.
1 minute.
You know, a second serve, you're supposed to just throw it into play and give the receiver a chance. Luis actually goes for aces and hits them on the second serve. It's very demoralizing.
I'm surprised. That's kind of the first time I know. He usually, I find, stands a little bit right of center on those second serves and just powers it off that left wall coming around. But he went right on that one and cracked it out. But 23-13, yeah, I think it's safe to say he's booked a spot in the semi-final.
He'll be facing me if he does win, as we've mentioned earlier. The other semi-final will be Emmett Peugeot from San Francisco, taking on your good buddy, Dermot Nash. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce the county that he's from in Ireland.
Well, that would actually be quite an easy one.
Oh.
He's just from Clare.
Oh, I could have done that.
Not too bad.
So it'll be Clare's Dermot Nash, winner of
Here we go.
the 2014 John Gaffney. A very impressive performance, defeating Irish #1 Robbie McCarthy in the final. Also defeated Emmett Peugeot when they played last June, 2013 USHA 4-Wall Nationals.
23.
I think that was quite
13.
I think he won quite comfortably, actually. I'm not sure, but I think it could have been. It was a 13-14, or
I believe it was 21-13, 21-12.
Yeah.
Both games were long, but
match plays
well, as always with Emmett.
Yeah.
But look at this. He goes left. Big hop coming here, I'd imagine. A wrinkle, as you call it.
That's kind of his finishing move. Came up short there, though. Aaron Garner didn't play badly. Missed a couple of opportunities, but you have to expect that against Luis, who's putting so much pressure on you. And that's not a good shot.
Nice match,
Luis
gentlemen.
ends it. Just another day at the office. And he'll be back in the office at 6 o'clock local time here tonight. You stay tuned. We're going to have a special junior WPH clinic. There's a lot of kids here at this tournament. They can't wait to get on the court with the pros. That's going to be coming up in just about 10 minutes. So you stay tuned. We'll see you in just a bit. For Dave Fink, Martin Mulkerns, Jeff Kastner, Linda Manning, and Chris Garrad, and Dave Vincent. Thanks for tuning in. Enjoy the handball for the rest of the day.
So, what's it gonna be? We could ride bikes, skating, movies, zoo, whatever you guys want to do.
Can we just do this?
Yeah. We could just do this.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.